So Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks was doing a live stream, and one of these super chat questions that was asked to her was about Julian Assange, and her response, or lack thereof response, is quite disgusting, and just another reason why, frankly, TYT is just a garbage media network that's frankly not a whole lot different than CNN or MSNBC at this point, in my opinion.
Says, free Assange, he's being tortured. You have more subscribers than any other progressive media outlet. Please cover his court hearings. I promise you we'll look into that.
We'll look into that. This extradition proceedings have been going on for about a week, and the best Anna Kasparian can say at this point is that we'll look into it. Really? You gotta be fucking kidding me. And she's a fucking so-called journalist, and this isn't concerning to her. First they came for Assange, nobody spoke up. Then they came for the next group, and the next group, nobody spoke up. Pretty soon, they're going to be coming for you, Anna Kasparian, and you didn't even think it was okay or necessary to stick up for Julian Assange? Fuck off. This is disgusting. Let's listen to this one more time.
Super chats. Kimber Maddox says, free Assange, he's being tortured. You have more subscribers than any other progressive media outlet. Please cover his court hearings. I promise you we'll look into that.
It's fucking disgusting. And look, how long do you think the last TYT video was made about Julian Assange? Fucking year ago. A year ago. Really. It's disgusting, really? Why the fuck would you listen to or get your news or opinions from TYT when they don't even think it's important to cover Julian Assange and his extradition hearing, when it's a literal attack on the free press? The only reason the U.S. security state is going after Julian Assange is because he exposed the war crimes of the U.S. empire, as well as the DNC fuckery in 2016, propping up Hillary Clinton, etc. That's why the liberals and the conservatives are going after him. It's disgusting. And this is Rania Kalik. Sad and scary how propagandized progressives have been into hating Assange for his personality, to the point where they shrug their shoulders or have to look into it when faced with the fact he's being tortured for doing journalism that exposed war crimes. Exactly. Really? You're not willing to stick up for Julian Assange, a literal fucking hero who's trying to be extradited, who the U.S. is trying to extradite to the U.S. for exposing those war crimes? You don't think that's a worthy story? What other fucking bullshit is TYT doing instead of covering this? Let's do a quick look. I mean, really, get your fucking shit. Look, yeah, 5 million subscribers, and they don't think it's worth covering that. And then look, and then they have this fucking bullshit. Trump supporter, Dr. Fauci's a liar. Trump's worst lie during the ABC town hall. Laura Ingraham, Trump was ambushed. Trump's cringy herd mentality comment. I mean, really? Nothing. Nothing on Assange. Tim Pool. Mark Zuckerberg. Nothing. This trial has been going on for a week, and they have, 20, 25 videos? Nothing. Nothing on Assange. Revealed Trump's love letters to Kim Jong-un. Fuck off. If you really actually want to get some news and opinion that's coming from an actual journalist who isn't willing to criticize or call out the U.S. security state and the U.S. empire, and who's willing to actually stand up for journalists who expose the crimes of the U.S. empire, follow or listen to the Moderate Rebels podcast. Get your news from the Gray Zone. Follow Kevin Gostola, who's been tracking this trial, and in particular, listen to this interview that Ben Norton and Max Blumenthal, pictured there, conducted with Kevin Gostola. This was from a couple days ago. You can see I've gotten through 45 minutes of it, and just documents the absolute travesty of justice that is taking place towards Julian Assange right now. And again, that person in the super chat who asked Anna Kasparian that question is right. They have this huge, massive platform. Julian Assange is being tortured right now for exposing the crimes of the U.S. empire, and the U.S. wants to extradite him, lock him up for the rest of his life, throw away the key to deter anybody else who may, have access to documents that expose U.S. War crimes, both or crimes domestically and abroad. It's disgusting, and again, there's no reason to be following or giving your money to TYT when they're not willing to stand up for Julian Assange and speak out for this travesty of justice that is taking place. It's disgusting. And this isn't the only thing that's concerning about Anna Kasparian. At the Munich Security Council, I'm not sure what year this was, but she gave a softball interview to former Secretary of State Madeline Albright, who literally, on tape, 60 Minutes, I'll play the tape here, thought it was okay that the U.S. sanctions that were placed on Iraq in the 90s, and as a result, 500,000+ Iraqi children died. She thought that was okay. And instead of grilling her on this, because that's disgusting, that's a crime against humanity, she gave her a fucking softball interview. That's Anna Kasparian. What's progressive about that? That's just seems like a opportunist who was willing to sell out any type of progressive credentials she had to get an interview with Madeline Albright. And now, she has this huge, massive platform on TYT at her disposal, and she'll look in to Julian Assange being tortured and his trial that's happening right now, a weekend. Fuck off.
500,000 children have died.
This is Albright.
I mean,
right
that's
there.
more children than died in Hiroshima. And is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
And instead, it was just
Here.
a softball interview for which Kasparian did
Munich Security Council.
a gig for a NATO conference.
Welcome to your MSC. I am delighted to be here and to have a conversation with the former U.S. Secretary of State under Bill Clinton,
War criminal.
Madeline Albright. And Madeline Albright was actually the first female.
Again, the first statement out of Anna Kasparian's mouth: as your tenure as Secretary of State, the U.S. leveled economic sanctions, which are a form of economic warfare on Iraq that led to 500,000 Iraqi children dying. Do you still think that was okay? And if so, what the fuck is wrong with you? That should have been her first line of questioning or statement, not this.
Secretary of State in the U.S. And it is a pleasure to have you here. It's an honor to have a conversation with you.
It's an honor to be talking with you right now because I'm a careerist and opportunist. And I'm just going to completely sweep under the rug that comment you made about it was a necessary price to pay, the 500,000 Iraqi children dying. And you call yourself a fucking journalist? Get the fuck out of here.
By you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
She also gave a softball interview to Francis Fukuyama, who is one of the architects of the neoconservative movement. Who wrote
Author of The End of History, right?
The End of History.
Yeah.
Instead of asking him to kind of defend these ideas, she allowed him to hold forth on on how evil populism is. And, I thought these people around Bernie loved populism. They wanted left-wing populism. Well, he was just saying we need to defend the liberal order and liberal democracy and so on.
Welcome to your MSC. I'm Anna Kasparian, and we're about to have a conversation with political scientist and economist Francis Fukuyama. We'll discuss identity politics and how he believes that it is incredibly important to push for liberal democracies around the world. Welcome, everyone. I'm Anna Kasparian, and we're about to have a conversation with Ian Bremmer. He's the founder of Eurasia Group, and we're going to
Let's look up Ian Bremmer real quick. Ian Bremmer. His name sounded very familiar. I don't know. So maybe this guy's obviously not as bad as fucking Madeline Albright, but Munich Security Conference. Which is what exactly? International security. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty questionable when you're going to the Munich Security Conference. Seems to be you're just doing all these propaganda interviews, especially when you're interviewing fucking Madeline Albright, a softball interview. Oh, NATO, so member countries of NATO and the European Union. Yeah. It's Anna Kasparian.
U.S.-China relations, along with the role of NATO in attempting to keep.
And then here she's doing fucking propaganda for NATO. Literally, all NATO does is further antagonize, increase tensions with Russia. NATO bases, NATO countries are more or less encircling Russia at this point, even though it was the first George W. Bush, when he was in office, he basically told, the Russians at that point, NATO's not going to expand anymore. They kept expanding. It's ridiculous.
I hope you enjoy.
Well, this was this year.
Control? Where are the red lines? This is the person that Jacobin has hired.
By the way,
yeah, she now has a weekend show on Jacobin, and the so-called socialist magazine. This is who you're propping up, really? Jacobin's trash. I'm sorry.
kind of deal worked out because the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, I'm looking at their
Your MSC.
They were part of a campaign that was #YourMSC. So not only were they participating in this NATO summit,
Exactly.
Security Conference, which is the most blatant imperialist conference you can ever go to, but they were actually trying to help rebrand it to make it woke with
Your MSC.
hashtag your Munich Security Conference, hashtag your bombs that we're going to drop on Yemeni children. I mean, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I could just go on and on. You have one of the co-hosts of Democracy Now! In your niche.
All right, so that's a little bit more of the bogus journalism that Anna Kasparian is putting out there. And again, this response is unconscionable right now. And you're in the media. You have the largest so-called progressive media platform in the fucking world. Almost 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. And you haven't made a video about Julian Assange or what's happening to him right now at his extradition trial. It's fucking disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. And again, I highly encourage you, if you feel like you need to donate to Progressive Media, donate to the Moderate Rebels, become a Patreon of them, read the Gray Zone. Counterpunch is pretty good. Rev Left Radio is not too bad. But please don't give your money to the Young Turks. They're not willing to speak up for Julian Assange right now. It's disgusting.